Good evening and welcome. I hope you felt welcome tonight. Fire Chief Richard Sievers was one of our greeters, and our Planning Director, Stephen Spraker, was the other greeter tonight. I'd like to introduce the folks who are sitting up in front of you. This is the May 7th, 2019 regular City Commission meeting. It's 7 p.m. and we are in chambers tonight. To my right and your left is Wendy Hantz, recording secretary. Next to her, we'd like to welcome back our new city clerk, Colby Cilento. Colby, it's great to have you back. She previously worked for the city of Ormond Beach in the city clerk's office from December of 2011 to January of 2018, last serving as the assistant city clerk. She left the city for a little while to complete a degree in political science from the University of Central Florida, national champions I like to say, and comes back to the city after a short stint working at Stetson University. So Kobe, welcome, and it's good to see you back. Commissioner Selby is not with us tonight. He has a business meeting and could not be here, but that was expected. Our Deputy Mayor and Zone 2 Commissioner is Troy Kent. That might be a first. That's nice.
You get to come to every meeting.
To my left and your right, Commissioner Susan Persis from Zone 3. Commissioner Rob Littleton from Zone 4. City Manager Joyce Shanahan. Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley. City Attorney Randy Hayes. And for those of you listening online, I'm Mayor Bill Partington. Thank you. At this time, if you would, please rise for the invocation provided by Chaplain Seymour Palmer from Advent Health, and that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let me first apologize for Chaplain L'Oreal, who could not be here this evening because of ill health. Teddy Roosevelt was a man who had a reputation for being frank and direct. In 1900, a year before he entered the White House, he wrote these words: "No community is healthy where it is ever necessary to distinguish one politician from his fellow because he is honest. Moreover, it is not enough that a public official should be honest. No amount of honesty will avail if he is not also brave and wise. The weakling and coward cannot be saved by honesty alone. Leadership requires two virtues that seem very simple until they become very inconvenient: honesty and courage. All of you have earned the right to be here today by winning the trust of the people of Ormond. But along with that honor comes a duty of humility, integrity, and public service. So let's settle our hearts for just a moment in prayer. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Help us as leaders to not ask first, how do we fix this? But what do we need to learn? How might we need to change? And to whom do we need to listen? Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are steward of your authority. Guide us to be leaders. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. Help us to see humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. Wisdom to govern amid conflicting interests and issues of our times. A sense of welfare and true need of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Ormond. Remind them, O God, because we all forget from time to time, especially in the noisiness of what passes for political debate today, that they are not only leaders but also servants, and that it is their responsibility and ours to serve them. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. We ask your blessing on the people who have been called to lead the community in which we live and work and play. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got a couple proclamations this evening. Positive things happening all over Ormond Beach, and we're going to recognize a few of them. First, if I could get Mrs. Parfit from the Kiwanis to come up and bring everyone with you, would be wonderful. Guys, come on up and face the crowd. If you have cell phones, we'll get somebody to take pictures for you of the whole. Robert, help us out with some pictures. This is a great program that Kiwanis is doing, and I'm proud to present this proclamation to him. Whereas Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to changing the world, one child and one community at a time. Kiwanis currently has over 550,000 members in 80 countries and geographic areas. And whereas Ormond Beach Kiwanis recently received a reading grant and has decided to call it Ormond Beach Reads, and whereas the Kiwanis Club would like to promote ongoing literacy support for elementary-aged school children through the offering of the Kiwanis Ormond Beach Reads Summer Challenge, and whereas the challenge will implore Ormond Beach Elementary School's children to read 4 books over the summer break, as well as challenge children from 4 other local elementary schools to compete for the most minutes read over the break, and whereas the Ormond Beach Kiwanis Club has dedicated itself to the betterment of their organization and improving the quality of life in our local community through the programs they offer and support. Now, therefore, I, Bill Partington, on behalf of this entire commission, do hereby declare May 13th, 2019 as Kiwanis Ormond Beach Reads Kickoff Day in the city, and urge all residents to join me in celebrating the Kiwanis' efforts. Congratulations to you all. Alan Burton, on behalf of the club, is going to tell you what is going on and give you the details.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You made a mistake. Give me the microphone. So what I will do is I will pass it off to Dylan, our inspiration for this program, and he can give you some more of the details since he'll give up the microphone.
What an honor to speak at the commission meeting in a T-shirt. How cool is that? Thank you for your support of the community and everything. It's going to be a really exciting program. We've got a generous grant from the Florida International Florida District Kiwanis Foundation, got that out, And that, with a whole lot of sweat and equity and fundraising throughout the year, we've been able to raise enough money that's going to provide each of Ormond Beach Elementary School's 350 children the opportunity to self-select 4 books to read over the summer. The research indicates that if you provide children an opportunity to read 4 books, that they had some sort of choice in selecting, then you could reverse the summer slide. And some of you may have heard of the summer slide, and that's the summer learning loss that happens when children don't read over the summer, and that's a cumulative reading loss. So if they don't read, by the time they get to middle school and high school, they could be as far as 2.5 years behind. So we have 3 major goals with this program. It's to help build home libraries. That's the 4 books. We also want to help teachers build classroom libraries. So part of our grant is going to help each one of Ormond Beach Elementary School's teachers select 10 books to add to their classroom libraries. And lastly, through this effort, and not just with Ormond Beach Elementary School, but we hope across the whole community, we hope to build a culture of independent reading throughout the community so we can get more kids reading to learn, learning to read, and having fun doing it. So we're excited about that, and we look forward to joining us. We also have the Summer Reading Challenge. Ormond Beach Elementary is committed to reading 250,000 minutes over the summer. So hopefully we can get the other elementary schools to join on board, and we're using Scholastic. You guys have heard of Scholastic, Clifford the Big Red Dog. They've got a wonderful online portal where kids can track their reading minutes over the summer online and on their mobile devices. So any student of any Ormond Beach Elementary School can sign up and log those minutes. So we're excited about it, and thanks again. The books that we gave, it's actually where, you know, a lot of times you hear about organizations raising a lot of money and giving 1,500 books to the kids. We are doing it kind of a different way. We're providing each one of the students what we call a reading certificate. Kind of looks like money, and they're going to be able to go to a Scholastic Summer Reading Book Fair, which has over 600 different titles, because choice is key. Instead of just giving a child a book that they had no input in selecting, they're going to be able to stand in front of 600 different titles and pick those 4 books that are special to them. So we really don't know which ones they're going to pick yet, but the choice is really key.
I just want to also just say I'm really happy down at the other end down there is to be working with Ormond Elementary, and we have Miss Hayes and Ashley, the 2nd grade. Miss Hayes is a principal, and Julie is an academic coach, right? So we're really happy that they're supporting this program and willing to do another book fair. They did one smaller one, but this is going to be a whole big kickoff for everybody throughout Volusia County. So we're really excited, and maybe as a model program for the rest of Kiwanis all the way through international. So we're really excited about this. Thank you.
All right, if I can get Gabe Menendez, our Public Works Director, and Kevin Gray. What's Kevin's title? Kevin, our Operations Manager. Robin, you can come on up. Utilities Service Manager. I'm going to present you with a proclamation honoring National Public Works Week. You are the representatives of the unsung heroes. Many of our public works employees, general employees, don't necessarily get the recognition that police and fire get. Those guys are on the front lines. They do heroic things, but you do heroic things kind of behind the scenes that nobody ever really sees, but we all depend on and expect on a daily basis those things to happen and occur. And so it's appropriate that we recognize you whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Ormond Beach. These infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees from state and local governments and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it's in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Ormond Beach to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the American Public Works Association has celebrated the annual National Public Works Week since 1960, now therefore, I, Bill Partington, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, on behalf of this entire commission who appreciates all your efforts on behalf of our residents, do hereby proclaim May 19th through the 25th as National Public Works Week in the City of Ormond Beach, and urge all our citizens to join with representatives of the Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions you make to protecting our health, safety, and quality of life. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. At this time, I'll ask Chief Sievers to come up and introduce some firefighters to us.
Well, that's appropriate.
Good timing. Good timing.
Right over here.
Evac.
You planned that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor and Commission. It's my pleasure to introduce some new recruits that are just starting with us. They've actually are local to the area, and they've all completed their in-house orientation. They're actually out there running calls. So I wanted to start with, first on my left here, with Garrett Fisk. He's a native to the area. He was actually born in Daytona Beach, but grew up in Ormond Beach. He attended high school right here at Seabreeze. He also attended the Fire Academy and EMT, that's Emergency Medical Technician, at Daytona State College. Currently lives in Ormond Beach. Here is one of our residents. In his time off, he likes to hang out with his family and go to the gym. That's pretty apparent. He would like the Commission to know that it's an honor and to be able to serve as a firefighter for the City of Ormond Beach. Garrett, thank you.
Nice.
Next to him, to my left also, is Frank Oratino. He was born in the city of Orlando, but he grew up in a nearby town of Deltona. He attended the high school at Pine Ridge. He attended the Fire Academy and EMT also at Daytona State College. Currently lives in Deltona, but is looking to relocate to Ormond Beach. He comes from a military background and serving in the United States Marine Corps. And Frank, I want to thank you again for your military service. We love hiring veterans. In his time off, he likes surfing and building hot rods. He would also like the Commission to know that it's a pleasure to serve the public in being part of this fire service family. Thank you, Frank.
Welcome.
And I actually have one more who couldn't make it today, but it's going to be apparent why. And I want to thank him in his name, and he would be here if he could, Joey Schmidt. Joey Schmidt couldn't attend because he's training with the National Guard today. When we set this up, we didn't know that his training schedule was going to conflict, but I want to thank him for his service. He's with the Florida Army National Guard, 3rd 20 Special Force Group, Airborne. I don't know what any of that means, but he wanted me to say that. I guess that's a big deal. But he was born in Washington State, grew up in a nearby town of Port Orange. He attended high school at Spruce Creek High School. He attended also his fire academy and his EMT, medical emergency technician training here at Daytona State College. Currently lives in South Daytona, but is looking to relocate to Ormond Beach. In his time off, Joey enjoys fishing, working out, and attending sporting events. And he would also like the commission to know that he is proud and appreciates being a firefighter for the city of Ormond Beach. So it is my pleasure to welcome these new recruits to our fire service family and our beautiful city of Ormond Beach. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. Chief, if you get one on either side of you facing the audience, we'll get a picture.
Was I your principal? Because I was the principal at Pine Hill.
Let's stand up behind them. Got it. Thank you. And welcome. We'll move on to audience remarks regarding items not on the agenda. And tonight we start with Jim Schultz.
Jim Schultz, 117 Harvard Drive. I was listening to the minister. He said honesty and courage, always two good things. And you have to know, how do we fix this? I've thought of that before, too. That's a great idea. Ocala was just talking about fluoridation. The folks with the knowledge in the water department actually strongly advised that they stop doing it because there were risks involved. It sounds like they're going to bend in the other direction and go with the other idea that it's the best idea that was ever thought of, and there's no risk because we're not going to acknowledge them. Palatka looked at that issue a few years ago. Their water guy told them there's risk involved. I'm pretty much sure that they voted unanimously to halt it. Oh, not do it. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another way. I just discovered while I was up in Michigan for a few weeks, freezing my butt off, because I took all shorts. I didn't realize or remember that it's still in the 30s at night up there. Anyways, September, I was reading a health site by Erin Elizabeth, Health Nut News, who's a local who has a national recognized health site. And she had cited Commissioner Kent from back September 2017. And I read it, and I had missed it. Imagine that. Sorry about that, Commissioner. Anyways, there were several pages of good comments and introspective looks. And one of the things I always look at is who said that it was a hazard. 19 of the 22 EPA unions asked Congress to halt fluoridation until safety of cancer could be proven. Congress decided not to acknowledge it or respond to it. But there were 53 studies, most of them hadn't been translated till just recently, on IQ reduction. One study by the U.S. government, 15 years, they showed that levels at what is expected from fluoridation could expose a fetus to 5 to 6 IQ point reduction. That doesn't sound good. And the latest study that wasn't published by the federal government showed that fluoridation damage, which is on dental fluorosis, which is only caused by fluoride, was 65%.
Thank you, Jim. Next is Elizabeth Kempf.
Hello, my name's Elizabeth Kemp. I was here last week, so I hope you remember me. I was here last week. I hope you remember me. My daughter says, Erin Elizabeth, says that I have to say that I'm Dr. Elizabeth Kemp. I have a PhD in development studies, and that I was with the World Wildlife Fund for 21 years and have consulted for the United Nations Environment Program for about 15 years. I start coming to Ormond 56 years ago, and I believe that this town was a bird sanctuary. Is it still considered a bird sanctuary? My sister who lived here told me that. Is it a bird sanctuary?
I don't know.
No. Well, so today I'm going to talk about, I'm not sure either, but my sister Elizabeth, Margaret Kemp, Margaret Elizabeth, so we all have these names in common. But today I wanted to talk about wetlands and wetlands conservation, and I'm going to read a little bit. Human actions threaten more species with global extinction now than ever before, probably in the last 10 million years. Have you heard the reports that have been on the news regarding the new report that was just released and approved in Paris? It was written by hundreds of scientists and produced by over 50 countries, and it is a landmark report. They suggest that an average of around 25% of species, animals and plants, are threatened, and that is about 1 million species. We really don't know how many there are. Wetlands contain a number of species, and I came here because of the wetlands, and now I am concerned about the threat of unsustainable development. So I think we need to, I'm a citizen of Ormond now, and I think one needs to conserve water. I'm concerned about water pollution, and the rate of change in nature is unprecedented in the last 50 years. You can talk about 10 million years, but certainly in the last 50 years. When the whales were coming by, the right whales, everybody gets excited. You know, they're in the news and so forth. Last year, I'm not sure, I don't have my nails. Okay, in the 2017 breeding season, there were no new calves and 17 adults died. However, in this season, 7 calves were born, and they were born in the south. So that was probably in the Florida waters. Wow.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It goes by quick.
It goes by very quick.
Right. Appreciate it. Michael Woods.
Good evening, everybody. For the record, Michael Woods with Cobb Coal. Just here today to give you an update on the Antares pilot agreement. You last saw me probably about a month ago. We were working through the details with the county. That is still progressing. We were originally, when we met, we're going to be on the agenda for this morning. It is instead going to be the 21st. I would expect a full update coming from the county attorney's office prior to Randy later on this week. Dan Eckert's directly involved, not so much on the pilot agreement. We've got that pretty much ironed out, but with some of the other indemnification. But I know that, you know, it's been a little bit of subject of discussion. Wanted to give you guys that update, and again, we're hopeful that on the 21st we'll have that in the morning, and probably Mr. Hayes will be giving you an update on the 21st the evening for your meeting. So I appreciate your time then. I appreciate your time now, and we're looking forward to getting this done.
Thank you, Michael. And Marianne Connors.
Thank you. My comments are actually from the last meeting. I'm sorry Commissioner Selby isn't here tonight because it's his proposal that I'd like to speak in support of. The last meeting, there was discussion about funding for design of a project to extend sewer services to the North Peninsula. That proposal was rejected on the basis of a city-first policy, despite substantive reasons weighing against that position. These reasons are based on significantly greater environmental impact of the North Peninsula systems. It's also been determined by the Health Department analysis and data. This analysis was first developed over 20 years ago and has been updated since. The soil conditions, density of development, and age of the North Peninsula septics will not improve, and the priority of the area for retrofit remains unchanged. Moreover, the impact to the Halifax of these systems is not bound by jurisdiction, and the city is very much affected by them. Second reason offered was that Ormond Beach is the only entity that can offer sewer service. Equally important, it is the only entity that should offer service, since it is the public water provider for the North Penn. As such, the city has an established service area and implicit obligation for utility services. I'm not suggesting that the city bear the costs or responsibility alone. This is a heavy lift, and it needs to be shared by the utility provider, governing jurisdiction, property owner, with substantial support from the state. Ormond Beach provides water outside the city at premium rates, and that relationship should be acknowledged as a service provider. Comments then followed regarding annexation policies, and they seem to me inconsistent with the very purposes of city government, specifically the provision of urban level of services to areas of compact development. But the priorities articulated were not to extend service and offer annexation, but rather to pursue annexation where a level of service is already in place acceptable to the city, like Plantation Oaks or Halifax Plantation. That's good business. It doesn't mean it's good government. So I'm asking the city leadership to acknowledge that Ormond Beach is part of a larger community, and the city's vision for the future should include improvement of a larger community. The city's conceptual plan for wastewater service of the North Penn is at least 20 years old. What's new is the potential for state funding, but that is relying on a design by the utility provider to make a project real, and that's Ormond Beach. Secondly, if you are going to have a discussion of annexation policy, I believe it begins with where the city should offer services as a municipal provider and include enclaves and the North Penn. Lastly, some of the criticisms that were leveled against other governments just seem counterproductive to the very partnerships that were under discussion.
We move on now to the approval of the minutes.
Please be the
the minutes
partner
have
you
been
would like
sent
to
to the
have.
commission for review and posted to the city's website. These are the minutes from the April 16th, 2019 meeting. Any additions, deletions? All right.
Move approval.
I have a motion for approval. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign, and we will show those approved. Now the consent agenda is item number 7. Anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. Now would be the appropriate time if any member of the commission would like to make comments on any of the consent agenda items. No? We'll move to public hearings. I will open the public hearings and ask the clerk to read 8A.
Ordinance number 2000-11, an ordinance amending subsection 7, miscellaneous of section 8-10, application processing fees of chapter 8, buildings and construction regulations, article 1, in general, of the City of Ormond Beach Code of Ordinances, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-11, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I do not have any cards. Just need a motion in a second.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
No.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. And that brings us to 8B.
Ordinance number 2000-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, District and General Regulations, Article 6, Overlay Districts, Section 2-71, Historic Districts and Landmarks of the Land Development Code by removing the property located at 56 North Beach Street, the Ormond Beach Union Church, from the Ormond Beach Historic Landmarks list, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, providing for severability, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-13, read by title only.
Thank you. I don't have any cards on 8B. It is a second reading. I just need a motion and a second.
A move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes. And that brings us to 8C.
Resolution number 2019-96, a resolution authorizing the execution and issuance of a development order for a special exception regarding the Lucky's Market grocery store located at 101 East Granada Boulevard within the B4 Central Business Zoning District within the Downtown Overlay District to allow outdoor activity to include the permanent outdoor display and sales of merchandise and cart corrals, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2019-96, read by title only.
Thank you. I'll ask our planning director, Stephen Spraker, to speak on 8C.
Good evening, Steve Spraker, City of Ormond Beach Planning Department. This is a request for a special exception within the B4 zoning district. Outdoor activity requires the approval through a public hearing process. The display on the projector shows where the outdoor storage is proposed to be located. So this would be a produce area, and then this would be the area for the carts. The location is shown here this morning. So this is where the produce is, and then the carts are located in this area here. It is away from East Granada Boulevard. Staff did send out notices to approximately 170 residents. The planning board recommended approval. Staff is recommending approval, and if there are any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for Stephen? Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. I have a card from Melissa Bradford, who is the applicant, if needed. But I think maybe we'll get a motion and second for discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for approval.
I second.
All right. Any discussion? Yes. Deputy Mayor Kent.
The only thing I'm sorry about is that this is across the street from my district. I was there last night with my family and Pat Benke and Holly and a couple of my other closest 1,000 friends that were there. And I believe the showing last night was a true indication of how wildly popular Lucky's is going to be in Ormond Beach. There's no other game like it in town, and when I say in town, I don't know of a place in Volusia County like this market. We thoroughly enjoyed seeing all that was to offer for our residents, and I think that Lucky's is lucky to be in Ormond Beach, and I think our residents are extremely lucky to have another option like this. And this type of outdoor exposure for your wares is extremely appropriate. We've approved in the past at locations like Lowe's, at Perrine's Market, and this is yet another glowing example of smart business and being a good neighbor. I don't think they'd ever put anything out there that would be deemed inappropriate. And if they did, I read in the report, planning staff would quickly, the city would quickly get out there and see them, and if there were two violations, then they would lose this privilege that they have. So, Lucky's, welcome to Ormond Beach.
Commissioner Persis.
Yes. I was also at Lucky's last night, and the first person I met was Melissa, and it was just wonderful. The friendly welcome from not just Melissa, but from all the employees, and the excitement in the store was just palatable, and it was just so much fun. You know, we got to taste all kinds of different foods. It was clean. It was, you know, like Deputy Mayor Kent said, I saw so many people I hadn't seen in a while because everybody couldn't wait to come to Lucky, so it was kind of like a reunion there. I saw Commissioner Commissioner Littleton was there too, going to get his beverage in line while he was shopping. But it was just, it is such a delight. And I actually posted on Facebook right away when I got home some pictures of the produce and some of the salads and the delis and everything. And I think in 10 minutes, I think I had like 200 hits or something. Like people were like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I'm going. I have friends that come here and visit from out of state, and they posted, where is it? Give me the address. As soon as I come back to Ormond, I'm going. So this is like a huge icon for our city, and I am thrilled, and I'm just very excited about it. I just want to tell you all welcome.
Yes, welcome to you, and Commissioner Littleton.
I'll make a quick mention that, I drove to the thing last night, the sneak peek, but there were people walking, crossing the street, coming to Lucky's. And what that shows is that Lucky's is going to provide walkability to the downtown, which has been a goal of ours, and I think it's going to be a great thing for the east side of Granada.
Absolutely. Deputy Mayor Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before you get your last shot at it here, I'm just pleased to tell the commission at 6:45 when I left my home this evening to come over the bridge to come to this wonderful meeting we're about to have. There wasn't a parking spot available at Lucky's. When I took the left turn to come over, I was like, goodness gracious, what a good problem to have. Jammed up. So, Commissioner Littleton, it's right on point with what you said. And all of our residents that live in the Heritage, what a great option they have to walk there. Thank you, Mayor, for the latitude.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't see one frown on anybody's face. I mean, it was all smiles, all positive. It's an upscale, beautiful shopping experience for people, and it's going to be a perfect fit, and our city is just excited to have you here, and I congratulate you, and particularly looking forward to tomorrow. Anybody that can make it at 9:30 for the, they don't call it a ribbon cutting, they call it a bacon cutting. So, and if you had any of the bacon you'll see that's just one more good thing. So, good deal. With that, Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. We will close the public hearings and move to 9A.
Ordinance number 2019-12, an ordinance amending Section 5-1 definitions and Section 5-5 cruelty of Chapter 5 Animals and Fowl, Article 1 in general of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ormond Beach, by providing the tethering of animals, providing exceptions and conditions for the humane tethering of animals, providing for enforcement, providing penalties for violators, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-12, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I have one card, and it's the one gentleman in Volusia County who knows how bad of a shot I am, but I'll call him up anyway. Joe Gallagher. I never had any formal training, so that's my excuse. That's right.
My name is Joe Gallagher, I live in Ormond Lakes, and first I want to commend Susan for introducing this ordinance. I think it's a well-deserved ordinance. It's, the way I've read it, it's a reasonable effort to help our four-legged friends and help make a better life. And I think it presents a better image of Ormond Beach. Having dogs tethered is not what I would think is a proper setting for Ormond and the dog itself. So I want to commend the commission, and hopefully that's going to get passed tonight. And if I can briefly say that I'd like to commend the city manager, if I can, real quickly. I initiated an email to the city manager on a issue that was in front of my house, a sewage cap. I didn't know where to direct the email to, so I sent it to the city manager at 4:10 p.m. At 7:30 p.m., she responded. I'm not sure of her working hours, but I was very impressed. The next morning, there was a city crew out there repairing the sewer cap. I think we're so lucky to have that kind of response from the city. I feel like it's a small town concept, and I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. One of the best city managers in the nation, and that's a great add-on for National Public Works Week. So, appreciate that. All right. I just need a motion and a second.
I move approval for ordinance number 2019-12.
I'll second that motion.
Perfect. And Any further discussion? Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. That brings us to 9B. Congratulations.
Ordinance number 2019-14, an ordinance approving the final plat for Pineland PRD subdivision, Phase 1 subdivision, a planned residential development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-14, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I have no cards. Just need a motion and a second.
I move for approval of ordinance number 2019-14.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. And that brings us to 9C.
Ordinance number 2019-15, an ordinance approving the final plat for the Pineland PRD subdivision, Phases 2 and 3 subdivision, a planned residential development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-15, read by title only.
Thank you. I don't have any cards on 9C.
Move for approval of ordinance number 2019-15.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Persis?
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. That brings us to reports, suggestions, and requests. And tonight we start with City Manager Joyce Shanahan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's always great to see our new firefighters and to recognize our public works employees. They sometimes are unsung heroes, as you said, not only with our gentleman from Ormond Lakes, but we had a call about 5:30 today about somebody had water coming in their house, so we had to make sure we got help out there. So we're very proud of the work that you all do in public works, so thank you very much. We had tentatively planned for a workshop on May 21st, a shade meeting to discuss our collective bargaining efforts. Commissioner Persis has advised me that due to the Seabreeze Scholarship Award ceremony that night, that she is unable to attend that 5:30 workshop. So I'm hoping that maybe that I know I'm pushing my luck here, but perhaps on May 27th, which happens to be Memorial Day, at 9 a.m. there's the Veteran Celebration at Rockefeller Gardens, and that'll go to about 10:15, 10:30. I thought maybe we could squeeze an hour and 15 minutes in there between that and the Ike Leary ribbon cutting. If that works, the only person I haven't touched base with is Commissioner Selby. So maybe, does anybody have any, I mean, I'm sure y'all have heartburn about me making you work on a holiday, but could we try that?
With my schedule.
Yes, works for me, Mr. Mayor.
And do I need to get a fallback date in case Commissioner Selby? We'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. I'll know before the 21st.
Perfect.
So, all right. Thank you very much for that. And just as a reminder, June 4th is May 21st is your next meeting, and then we'll have our budget CIP meetings beginning on June 4th. We have set up individual meetings with you like we normally do to review the budget, and in July we'll do the operating budget. We have lots of projects ongoing. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions for the City Manager?
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley.
Welcome back, Colby, and thank you for a great first meeting, very smoothly run.
Good deal. And City Attorney Randy Hayes.
No, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. And we start tonight with Commissioner Persis.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome Colby. I found out tonight that I worked with her mom at Holly Hill Middle School a long time ago, and her mom is just great, and clearly she is too, so welcome. Welcome back here. It's wonderful to see you. I am, as you can tell, so excited about this non-tethering ordinance. I've done a little research and gotten involved since all this happened, and tethering kind of is a vicious circle because typically people who tether animals are have an abusive side to them. So if they tether animals, they tend to be abusive in their family situations as well. So this is kind of the beginning to kind of maybe help stop some of that as well. So we're going to protect our four-legged friends, and I'm just very, very excited to have the Commission's support. So I thank each of you very, very much. I really do. I was very pleased to attend some Arbor Day celebrations, and I know the mayor was at many too. Actually, we were at the same two, I think. We were both at the Ormond Beach Elementary Arbor Planting Tree Day, and it was so much fun. They brought the whole school out, and someone got on, I don't know, a big picnic table or something, and they were all out there. We're in the middle of all these kids, in the middle of all these trees, and it was just so much fun. The kids were so excited, and the teacher that was presenting did a fabulous job of explaining how important trees are to us. So it was just a great experience. And then we went to Pathways, and they were so nice. These kids gave the city, and I'm going to pass them down to the mayor, Deputy Mayor Kent, and Commissioner Littleton, some wonderful little thank you notes. And as a former principal, I love these things. They're just so sweet, and because kids really speak from their heart, and they write what they believe in. And just like this one says, "Thank you, City of Ormond Beach, for the trees," and they draw a tree, on the front of it, and it's just so sweet. So I'm going to pass these to the mayor, and you can just show them around. But it was great. And at Pathways, they read this little poem, and I just want to share it with you because I thought it was so cute. It goes like this: advice from a tree. Stand tall and proud. Go out on a limb. Remember your roots. Drink plenty of water. Be content with your natural beauty and enjoy the view. And those are some good words of wisdom for all of us. So I just think the city did a fabulous job with the Arbor Day tree giveaway, and with with all the tree giveaways that they did. It shows how much that we truly do care about our environment and our trees and all of our sustainability here in the city. I wanted to let you know I did attend another event, the Art in the Garden. It's a fundraiser for the Ormond Memorial Art Museum right at the corner. It was a great event. It was a sold-out event, and they raised so much money for that art museum, which is such a beautiful place. So I just wanted to share that with you. And of course, we've all talked about Lucky's. Lucky's was just, I think you said it right, Deputy Mayor Kent. We are lucky to have Lucky's, and I know we're all going to be using it. It's the best thing that's happened to Ormond Beach in quite a while as far as getting something here. But again, I just want to thank all of you for being here. It's just, I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy. I'm working with great people, and I know I had one more thing I wanted to say. Joyce mentioned there was like a 5:30 little incident involving water. It happened to be on my street, one of my neighbors, and they called me. So it was like on Tidewater, and I guess the neighbor's pipe broke, and my husband's out there trying to help him, and they're calling me. I'm trying to call Gabe. I couldn't get Gabe because I don't have the right number. I'm going to rectify, but Joyce saved the day as usual because she's so great. But the city, I guess it was probably 2 months ago, got involved and helped me and some of the neighbors on Hidden Hills. There's a Hidden Hills lake, and the dam or the weir broke, and the water was just all gone. And it wasn't a city problem. The city had no involvement in it at all. But the city took their time. Joyce took her time. Randy took her time, and Gabe took his time to meet with all these citizens and help them come to a decision on how to get it fixed, and didn't have to do it because it really wasn't in their arena at all, but they helped, and it's now up and working, and I just want to thank you. It looks beautiful. So with that, I'll say good night.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you, Mayor. To piggyback on National Public Works Week, I had the pleasure Friday of seeing Kevin Gray give a presentation at the Environmental Discovery Center about our changes to the recycling program. And of course, there were citizens there who were concerned about it, but Kevin has so much institutional knowledge that he answered all their questions, and they came away understanding our decision. So I want to thank him with that. And with that, I'll say good night.
That's great. Deputy Mayor Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of brief items this evening. First of all, to start with Public Works, Gabe and Kevin and your whole crew, you do a wonderful job, and I'm so pleased that we were able to recognize you all this evening, and you really are unsung heroes for what you do to make sure this city keeps on chugging along. Thank you both very, very much. Commissioner Persis, I want to publicly thank you for your leadership on the anti-tethering law. You thanked this commission for supporting you, but we all supported you because it's good legislation, it's common sense, it's the right thing to do, it's loving, it's caring, and that's why I supported it. And I don't speak for my mayor or my fellow commissioners, but I think that's why they supported it as well. But great leadership, thank you. Art in the Park this weekend was wonderful until that weather hit. But until the weather hit, it was wonderful. It was great. I mean, it was great until that weather hit. I'm not sure, but it felt like 50-mile-per-hour winds where I live, around the corner from Art in the Park at the Casements. But and to the gentleman out in the audience who spoke of the tethering, but spoke about emailing Ms. Shanahan at 4:10 p.m., her response at 7:30 p.m., and then it was fixed the next morning. I don't say this lightly, and I wish I coined this phrase, and I don't know that he did, but I stole it from our great mayor when he calls people the best in the business. And Joyce Shanahan is the best in the business. She is fantastic at what she does. And that's why what you received, the results you received, are what you received. And that's not an anomaly. That's pretty regular. It's just how she operates. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a new, superhero movie out, and she wasn't. I didn't see her in it, but maybe she could be in it. But we have great people that work for our city. We have dedicated employees that love this city. You want to get me fired up? Have the fire chief get up here and introduce new people and tell me that they went to Seabreeze High School. Tell me they're living in Ormond Beach. You're going to get me pumped up. I love that. I love when our employees live here and take a vested interest in our city. I love it. There's a police sergeant I know named Sergeant Pavelka, and he talks about how important it is for his kids to have a job in Ormond Beach when they get done with whatever educational studies their adventure is on, but that they have a job right here. We have great people here. And Joyce, you've been just knocking it out of the park with your hires, which leads me to my last comment tonight, which all goes to Colby Salento. Colby, I was disappointed you ever left us. But I am so very grateful that you are back. You are an extreme professional. I love that you finished your degree. Tonight went off without a hitch. Thank you, from the city clerk's office. And I just want to say welcome back. It's really great to have you. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Oh, yep, that's all I have. Have a great evening.
Perfect. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I was at they call it a roundtable meeting. It's really more of a horseshoe, but they have them at the airport. It's all 16 cities representatives, usually the mayors, and then the county representatives as well, school board, and some of the agencies. Thank you. And Clay Irvin gave a presentation at the request of the new Smyrna Beach mayor regarding growth management. Clay used to be our planning director. He's at the county now. I don't know his exact title, but he's in the running to be the assistant county manager, I'm hearing. But Clay explained that there is no growth happening in Volusia County that hasn't been on the books for at least 34 years. In other words, 34 years ago, about 1985, the county and the 16 cities got together with a growth management commission employing smart growth policies, and they set the boundaries of where growth could go. So for 34 years, we've known where you can build and where you can't build. And environmental concerns were strongly considered when they put that together. So I just wanted to mention that tonight as we talk about those issues. The mayor of New Smyrna Beach had requested that because he was hearing about it from his citizens, and I think it was educational for him to learn about that because he's basically brand new to the system and didn't realize there had been so much planning so much strategic thought involved in setting up those parameters. And so what you're seeing now is not anything that should be a surprise to anybody that has studied it or understands what's going on. I had also a few weeks ago, and Commissioner Persis was there, and Commissioner Littleton was there as well, the breakaway trails reuse pumps. We broke ground on that project, which was fantastic. Another public works project. They use those 1 million gallon tanks out there for irrigation, reuse water irrigation, and also fire suppression way out there on breakaway trails. Reuse water is fantastic for our environment, and I'm so proud of Ormond Beach for being a leader in the reuse water arena. But the representative from the St. Johns River Water Management District was there, and he cited a statistic that blew me away. Basically, in the last 20 to 25 years, the population has grown by 50% in this area. And with that, water usage has gone down 22%. And so during April, which was Water Conservation Month, I thought that was an important statistic for people to understand, that with all the population growth, actual water usage, because of all the efforts that we all put into water conservation, has gone down a little more than a fifth, by 22%, what I think was the statistic that he cited. And I thought, you know, you hear so many bad things, but that's a really positive thing, and it highlights the efforts that people are making to ensure that we grow in a smart way and we're sensitive to our water needs, water being so critical in so many ways. But I just wanted to point that out. And Mary Ann Connors, former long-time, county employee, and a county employee that was in administration for many, many years, in a powerful place where she could have done so many things. And so I appreciate her pointing out from that position that the county really does have an obligation to help us should we ever decide to embark on the North Peninsula, after we take care of Ormond Beach first. Amen. Ormond Beach first is such a great 3 words, Ormond Beach first. But I appreciate that the county, in the tops of the administration, where people have the power to get things done, even though this wasn't done for 20-some years, but now apparently it's an important issue. And I'm glad they're finally recognizing it, and I hope that dollars come with that recognition to help us and the state get to where we need to be on those items. Arbor Day, fantastic, Joyce. I mean, to provide 3 trees, I think they were cathedral oaks, to each elementary school, not just provide them, but provide the company that went out and planted them wherever the principals and instructors really needed and wanted them. That was a fantastic thing for the city to do. I'm sorry, you're right. And middle school and high school. Because I joined the school board chairman at Seabreeze to dedicate their 3 and was blown away by Seabreeze's agriculture program. I just think it's a fantastic thing. Like Commissioner Persis said, it highlights our commitment to the environment. And certainly the elementary age children really, really enjoyed it, and they do speak from the heart. They love it. But I didn't make the middle school one. I made 3 out of 7 of them, I think. They were all different days, all different times, and we weren't really involved in the coordination of them. But I think the middle school kids probably appreciated it, and the high school kids that were there really enjoyed it and enjoyed the process of celebrating it.
Thank the Halifax Country Garden Club for their assistance as well.
Absolutely. Linda Armour, Sue Avakian, and many other members of the Halifax Country Garden Club did a fantastic job with that. And so it's just a great partnership between the city, a private club, and our school system to really, it was a second Arbor Day celebration for us, and that really put the exclamation point on it. So thank you, Joyce, for making that happen. Also, a couple Sundays ago, I had the opportunity to attend Tomoka United Methodist Church's 40th anniversary. And this is a church right out on Granada, just west of Nova, across from Tomoka Elementary, They prayed for this entire commission and our city staff, but 40 years, religious organization, I guess you'd call it a private organization, helping, praying for, providing support for, and just doing positive things in our community, and to think of the thousands of lives that they've helped. All our churches do that, but to celebrate 40 years with them was special, and I just wanted to let the commission know that they were being remembered in prayers that particular day by the membership there, and they appreciated us presenting them with a proclamation. So on that positive note, we will say good night and be adjourned. Thank you all for being here.